All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us in our webinar for QuickBooks 101. We're gonna go over a lot of information related to QuickBooks, so let's go ahead and get started. So this is what we're gonna cover. I'm gonna move this on the side. So this is everything that we're going to cover in today's presentation. We're going to talk about the small business facts. We're also going to talk about the accounting advantage, the benefits of having somebody with financial experience to guide you. And we're going to then give you a whole overview and questions that you might have on QuickBooks. Now, with me, it's the one and only Miss Katherine Gonzalez from KGR Accounting. She's going to co-train this important webinar with me, and we're going to answer questions, and we're going to go over features that we feel that everybody that uses QuickBooks might know. So let me go ahead and just go for it. All right, welcome, welcome. See somebody join us. Now, I'm going to also go to the next presentation, to the next slide. Second, yes. All right, so one thing about QuickBooks and the small business, and we're going to talk about it. Go ahead, I'm going to admit. All right. Hello. Hi. Okay, so welcome to the webinar. So those of you, to those of you who already joined us, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is what we wanted to do. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So here's the plan, Renee. So type as we go over this training. I want you to give us all of your questions as as generic as possible in the chat. And the reason is that we are recording this session so we can send it to you, and also we can share it to other users. So go ahead and send us your question, write it in the chat as they come along. And then once we finish with the presentation, we're going to be able to go to you one-on-one. So again, just be as generic as possible in the chat, and then we're going to individually make sure that each one of you has your question answered in the right way, and of course in the discreet way as well. So without further ado, I'm going to actually share with you, I'm so glad that you're here, because there's something very important about small businesses. And this is even before the pandemic. We're living on unprecedented times. And part of the article, I actually found an article in lendingtree.com that said that 50% of businesses close within the first 5 years. Then 20% don't get past their first years. Actually, I believe it was less than that. And then after 10 years, only a third stays in business. Now, another source, because the reason I kind of like dig further was like, okay, is this before the pandemic or after COVID? Guess what? Then in Yelp, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with Yelp, this is like a review site that you put your business on Yelp and people leave ratings about your service or products. And they noted that in June, 41% of all businesses closures were actually permanent. So about 41% of small businesses closed because, unfortunately, of what happened in the pandemic. Now, here's more. We wanted to know, actually, me and Katherine, we wanted to know what were the top reasons that business failed. What was happening in all of these numbers that trigger the closing of the businesses? Here's what we found. So we have here the first reason, 42%, if you see on top, no market needed. So there was no market need. But the second one, ran out of cash. And I'm going to tell you something about no market need. When you do a brilliant marketing strategy and you have your branding down packed, those are things that can be tweaked, and you can adapt your business to those elements. But they ran out of cash and the wrong team and now competed. Those are reasons that you could probably identify, or you could probably look if you had the right financial guidance. If you were running your systems the right way, if you have the right person telling you, hey, we maybe should cut down on costs, or we might improve the quality of the product or service. that's when you actually have the need of having a good system like QuickBooks and also the right guidance, the right team helping you around. So this was very interesting. Again, everybody's going to get a recording and you're going to be able to go over this information as well. It was super interesting, and I'm going to continue with the next section with the accountant advantage. So in summary, this is not only about showing you how to set up QuickBooks, but the reason of this mini webinar is to show you first how simple it is. They have made it very simplified for everyone to use. And also we want to make sure that if you have any questions right now, this is the time for you to answer those. So definitely we want you to look at the accountant advantage of course, and you have expert insight. Yes, so the person knows the numbers don't lie. I'm sure you heard this before. Then you have the accurate bookkeeping. Yes, because that is going to allow you to pull the right expenses. If you want to know how much are you running, what is your overhead, then accurate bookkeeping, will give you the financial perspective that you need. Also, you have organized statements to keep you prepared for tax season. Yes, it's coming up. It's right under our noses. And then improve efficiency to let you focus on what you do best. So definitely you want to have a financial structure and somebody to guide you along the way. Without further ado, so here's information about what my co-presenter, Katherine Gonzalez. So here's information. And maybe Katherine, if you wanna, I guess, introduce yourself and let everybody know what you do.
Yes, yes. Hi, good afternoon. It's lovely that you were able to join today with us, with Karina and myself, Katherine Gonzalez. I have my own company called KGR Accounting. Actually, I'm one of those that started during the pandemic, actually, to start helping businesses to plan their business structures and their services, and to be also compliance with the industry. I have more than 25 years in accounting. Actually, I've been a controller for a not-for-profit organization for many years. Before that, also I worked in the logistics and also in the pharmaceutical industry. So I have a pretty vast experience in business. So I decided to open my business to help small to medium-sized businesses to be able to be to do their business well. And like Karina said before, accounting advantage is very useful, especially when you're starting up a business. Anywhere you go, you need a good accounting in order for you to know what you're doing, especially when tax season comes. So those are the very important aspects of accounting. So I do that right now, and I'm here to help you and to guide you in the best way that we can. And with Karina as well, because Karina has the experience in the technical side, which is how to do QuickBooks. I have the accounting background. So I'm here to help you anyway. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Katherine, for those amazing words. And also, aside from these services, I want to add my 2 cents with you, Katherine. Business loans. We've had these conversations before. So if you or you know somebody that might look or needs to look into business loans, by all means, reach out to her directly, and she'll be able to guide you on the requirements and everything that you need. Yes, so definitely that I want to leave that out there. And so about me, I've been in the technology field for 20 years. I love teaching and I love technology. So I decided to, okay, why don't we do something that the two come together? That's where iKnowledge came from. We provide business training services. More than the technical side, like I mentioned, we can show you at every level, every technology that could possibly think of. We probably had trained somebody or a group of hundreds of people. So it's really a dynamic business. The technology is always evolving, as you know. You learn a program now, and 3 months later you have an update, and then another one. So that's also part of the reason that we find it so exciting as well. You're always learning and we're always teaching. So yeah, so that's information, my website, and without further ado, let's continue with the QuickBooks online plans available. By the way, this presentation is focusing on online QuickBooks. That's what we use, and it seems that it's the trend. A lot of businesses are going through the online path. So FYI, if you have online QuickBooks, definitely this is the place to be. So those are the three simple, so very, very basic, but it's also good for if you're starting your own business the first time. And notice that the difference between the simple and the essentials plan is that the essential not only has multiple users, they have 3 users, but you also have the ability to manage the bills and track time. This will be useful if you're having in a business service-based business that you need to track time on an ongoing basis. So that's that. And then the plus, you have up to 5 users. If you see the higher the plan, the higher the users, and that's it. And then you have projects, inventory, and 1099 contracts. Really, it depends on what you have and what you need. But those are the 3 basic ones that are available on at the time of this training that we pull from QuickBooks Online. All right. So today, basic main dashboard review. And I want to share with you today what are like the best ways for you to master your own QuickBooks, because they really made it intuitive to the point that it's really, you can follow it smoothly and learn quickly. So this is actually the website that you can have. It's like a test drive website that QuickBooks came to put together, which is amazing. And then you can go there and then you can play with QuickBooks as well. So, but just I already have that in here. I'm gonna go and minimize, stay away from this, the presentation for a little bit. And then, so right here, when you log in the first time, it's gonna ask you to verify the CAPTCHA. And it's actually taking that a little bit. Okay, so while that loads, let me go back here because I wanna make sure that we have, so the main dashboard has the user access. Okay, so what I was trying to show you on the other screen is the first thing that you need to do when you open your QuickBooks account is to manage your users. Who's gonna be your staff, who's gonna be your admins. And this is basically where you go. You go to the gear icon. So let me go back here. So there's a little tiny bit icon. Let me go to the slideshow right here. Can everybody see the gear icon? So if you click on it, left click, you're going to have the list of things that you need to set up one by one. And again, the first one that comes in the actual menu is the manage the users. So very briefly, standard users are the ones, if you have your team members, people that are helping you with the bookkeeping, this probably will be a standard user. Company admin, they can see and do everything. Usually the owners have the company admin. And there's other 2 types of users that do not count towards the number of your plan. They are not going to be counted towards your plan. And those are the reports only user right here. Okay. And then you have the time tracking only. So they can add their own timesheets. This is ideal. Again, if you are working on, you have a business that has services and you subcontract your staff around this particular plan. So reports only and time tracking only are the ones that are kind of fairly new. So I have a question for my 3 ladies here. Have you set up your QuickBooks account now? Like, do you have it open or you're thinking about it? Just write down on the chat your status per se. Okay, let's see. We gotta. Okay, you have it, Renee. So we're past this stage. In progress. Okay. Yeah. So any questions after the training, we're happy to answer those. Okay. So we're gonna continue then, but that's basically the section that we wanted to emphasize in this particular presentation. So now the create icon. If you want to increase the speed when you use QuickBooks, what you need to do is take a look at the plus tab, and then amazingly what it has, it kind of gives you the order of like the order of your sequence, what you need to know one by one. So for example, you have here, the first one is the invoice, then you have the payments and so forth. Now, how many of you used, I'm curious, I know it's probably one, how many of you use like the default invoices from QuickBooks? Like change, Yeah, you're thinking to open. Okay, so you're perfect. This is a really, really good introduction then. So let me actually try again. I'm going to pause the share. Okay. So when you are in the main dashboard, you have the gear icon. So this is what I was trying to show you before. So you have your company information here. So if you're opening, let's say that after this training, you say, you know what, that's it. I'm in the QuickBooks train. Okay. And after you go over the setup process, you're going to end up on a dashboard that looks just like mine. So the next step will be, you're going to click on the gear icon, and then you're going to follow the steps. So first on your company, you start your first, your data about who you are, the address and so forth, accounts and settings, manage users, okay? Custom form styles. The custom form styles, this is where you're actually going to create your default invoices. If you have received from other companies, beautiful, fancy invoices with their logo on them and they have a special font, this is where they go, okay? So you can do it too. And QuickBooks made it easy so you can start with the actual format, with a template. Then we're gonna talk about chargeable accounts. This is where Katherine is gonna join us. And then you have, last but not least, all lists. So this list, they talk about how to have the list of products and services. You can also import customers from another system. So if you have MailChimp, or if you have, let me see, Zoho or another CRM, you can actually pull the customer information into QuickBooks. So here, this is where basically all of that magic happens on the setup icon, the gear on the right. All right, so I'm actually, before I do that, Katherine, I'm gonna transfer you over there, but let me just go ahead and go a little bit back. And I wanna see if that, the home page, there you go. Oh, see, I got a little scared here. So this is a sample company. So this is the actual link for you guys to try it out before you make your decision. And like I mentioned before, my new tab, this is king. So this is where you have the steps on how to set up your system. And you also have the gear icon. So I'm just gonna move you guys here. And then you can go ahead and import data. So the gear icon is probably your first stop. And once you have all of this down packed, that you understand what each functionality does, then what I will do is just go into your new link, and then you can start going through all the steps. Again, a lot of the answers are gonna be, hopefully we're gonna answer questions that you have today, but without further ado, I'm going to move this up a little bit. And I'm going to let Katherine talk to you about the chargeable account, because like after you do your setup, this is where the meat of the accounting, the essence of what you're doing in QuickBooks is. You want to make sure that the chargeable accounts are done properly. So Katherine, the slide is all yours.
Hi, how are you? Okay, the chart of accounts, okay, it's super important in any business. Basically, you need to have the income statement and the balance sheet. The income statement is based on different, it's based on revenue. It's where the money of your business brings in for sales and the goods that you're doing and you're selling. It comprises of investment income, sales returns. That's the majority of what compiles revenue. Expenses, it's any type of money that you're spending, anything that you spend for your business. Related expenses, employee, office supplies, rent, travel, utilities, any other expenses that are related to the business. That's the most common income statements for any business that you have. Those are the main points, especially when you're going to be doing tax. You look at the income statement in order to do your taxes. So that's the most important part of any business, and making sure that you're making money or not making money, where you can cut your expenses if you're losing money somewhere, and you can see a trend by months, or you can do it by year, consolidate it any way you want it, you can have it. And that's the beauty of the income statement, because the money can talk to you. It tells you what you're really doing in your business. And if it's worth doing some tweaks, maybe increasing certain like revenues in some areas that you think you're going to be doing, that you want to do, increasing some services that you're providing, and also how much it's costing you. So that is very one of the very important things in business. The balance sheet is basically assets, meaning your cash, your receivables, any inventory that you have, any equipment. It's basically your assets. It's any resource of your company owns and provides some value. The liability is like debts. You have your own debts. You have accounts payable, salary payable, accrued liabilities, anything related to anything that you owe for somebody else. So that assets and liabilities equals equity. So equity is what is left, meaning after all your expenses, after your revenue and expenses and liabilities, that is equity. That's what's left of the company, of your assets. So that's where you have your, you can say that you're doing the company has equity, the business has equity, basically. So those are very important too, because they also factor, meaning many people factor, especially if you're taking a loan, they look at your balance sheet. They want to know how much you owe. And that's super important for any business, because they want to make sure that you are able to do or get a loan because your debt income ratio. So they do that. The loans are very important, especially like right now, for instance, I have an example. I had a client, she had a business, she wanted to apply for a business loan, but her debt was higher. So meaning she wasn't able to afford a loan because her debt was higher. She made money, but her debt was higher than her income. So right there, it's something that, you can't take a loan for. So those are the things that you have to look in business, your income statement and your balance sheet, and making sure that everything is on point. And that's one of the things that I can offer, guidance, and try to help you and see where you guys are in any business. If you're starting up, where you want to go in the future, like projections, that also is very important in a business. So you have any questions, let me know, send me a chat, and I can send you my email. And if you want to further go about it, of any other questions that you have. Thank you, and I'll leave it to Karina.
All right, very good, very good. So basically we have, I see somebody on the chat. Let me take a quick look. Oh, I am thinking, yes, Zoho. So yes, Zoho and QuickBooks, I actually have used both. And I can tell you QuickBooks, they made it so intuitive in far as usability, user friendliness. I will go with QuickBooks, hands down. Zoho, what I've noticed, the setup is very clunky sometimes. I mean, it also, we have noticed that it's sometimes like you have quirks on Zoho that they're not as easy to fix. So that's a good transition. So I'm glad that you're here. So you're gonna see that all of the features that this has. So you can also, so this is an example on the presentation of the chart of accounts. So this is how it works. And so what I liked about it, actually, let me just go here on the sample. I'm gonna try not to do it as much because I know it's a lot of back and forth, but it's actually kind of fun to see how the actual system works. So we have here, this is like the chart of actually the banking. So we're gonna just go to banking. So when you actually go into your QuickBooks account, one thing that I'm gonna show you for my beginners, I'm gonna move you guys, sorry, I'm gonna move you on here. You see this guy here? I call it the Google from QuickBooks, the little magnifying glass on top. So you can actually look for anything here. And then you can, for example, if you're looking for, a particular feature that you don't see, you can actually look it up there. Okay, so yeah, the web connection's all set. This is the actual sample company, so they don't have that. So one other thing that you can see under the banking area, okay, that you have like a snapshot of all of your balances for the different In this case, they're like the 2 checking accounts and the MasterCards. And when you click on any of the elements, if you want to get the breakdown of every element in QuickBooks, you just click on it, and then it's going to give you all the information that you need. All right. So another thing that you can see if you keep scrolling down is that you can actually have the categories, and you have all the information in a way that is like very easy to see, to identify. So I just, for example, look, they have this sample here. So you have a transaction. This is a banking transaction that came from another system. You can just click match. And then what happened is that QuickBooks is going to look for the actual transaction from the bank and match it. Actually, Catherine, I know you mentioned that one of the questions, one of the glitches in QuickBooks, not glitches, but one of the things in QuickBooks, but I want everybody to hear from you. It was something that about when the transaction came from the bank and the person, yes, we had a situation that the person by mistake, okay, entered the account manually in QuickBooks, and then QuickBooks identified the same bank account on the actual, on the feed. So, but Catherine, I'm going to, maybe you want to expand on it, or how it was fixed, or maybe an overview of what went on there, because that's a very common question too.
Okay, hold on. Are you gonna share? Okay. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen. Hold on one second. Can you go to banking? Because
yeah, let me go back.
Go to the
yeah. Where banking?
Yeah.
Wait. Where do you go? Charts of accounts. Charts of accounts.
Go to the sample company so that I could show them from the sample company.
I'm here in banking.
Okay, so what happens on the banking side? Let's say there's an example. You're getting QuickBooks right now as new. So you don't want to link maybe your information to the bank right now. You're trying to work on that piece. You can add let's say you wanna receive money that somebody paid you. So you can create that from the beginning in the system. So what you do is you create it as a sales receipt. Let's say you did a service, you create a sales receipt for a client. And then once you get the amount that that person is giving you, right? And when it comes from the bank, if you download the information from the banking, what it does is matches that information from the bank and from the sales receipt. So it does like a matching with the person. But some other instances that it doesn't appear, that you probably put a different name in the banking and it doesn't match it. So basically what you're trying to find out, it's try to fix it by going into the invoice, or either the invoice or the sales receipt, and correct the information on the sales receipt side to make it match in the banking. Because the good thing about QuickBooks is that every transaction that comes in, if you have it in your books, it matches. But when it doesn't, that's when you have to find out why it didn't match the same amount. Either it could happen that there was fees that were deducted before you got in. There's an example for Square. When people use Square or people use PayPal, depending, there's fees that are taken out before it goes to you. So those adjustments, you need to do it on the invoice side when you have issues or differences between what you receive in the bank and what was done in your books. So those are little quirks that sometimes you have to kind of work on it on the banking side and the sales and the invoices. One of the questions, frequent asked questions is, what is sales receipts and what is invoices? So I gave you a little in the handout, there's something, it tells you the differences and what is what for each. So that's one of the things that QuickBooks has. It's very technological, but you have to kind of learn how to work certain things, because there's going to be always some, like technology, there's always going to be their nuances that you're gonna find out, oh, why is this not matching? Why is this? So those are things that you can probably start learning as you go with QuickBooks, but it's a very good module for any business, for any startup, or even higher business. So if you have any questions, you let me know.
Yes. So
I leave it to you, Karina.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over. That's what the plan is. This. So I'm going to actually continue with this area, so you can at least get an overview of what QuickBooks does. And feel free to start putting in the chat any questions, anything that you feel that you would like to know. And now that you have us around. And so one of the examples that you see here is to creating an invoice and receiving payments. So very straightforward. I mean, it's just when you create an invoice, look, if you look on the, can you guys look carefully here? Yeah, so when you create under invoice, you can go ahead and click where it says send your first invoice. And then here in the next screen, you're going to select the customer name, save it, and it's super, they walks you through steps. And last but not least, you have the payment terms. So in this case, the invoice is gonna be 9/30, and you have a credit card and free banks. One thing that QuickBooks made fairly easy is to integrate payment systems like Square, like PayPal, and also if you let's say you have a company that you actually require your customers to sign in agreements. Guess what? In QuickBooks, there is an app, I'm going to show you where to go to later, that you can integrate your e-sign software into the QuickBooks. So when you send somebody an estimate, instead of going back and forth, taking pictures or what have you, all you have to do is have the person e-sign it, and then you still send it back right to you with QuickBooks alone. So it's a really honest, one of the most efficient integrations that I believe it's amazing. And that's going to be also in one of the apps that I'm going to show you. So one thing that also QuickBooks has, just to continue on, is how to email the invoice. So you can send the invoice right to the customer through these fields that you see here, and you can print or preview your document. Okay. How many of you, if you have recurring, we have recurring payments, like customers that they're paying you every time, instead of you remembering, right? Instead of you remembering of doing the same invoice over and over, look, there's an option right here that says make recurring, and off you go. It's automatic. I see somebody in the chat. Oh, okay. Okay, this is a good question. Let's go ahead and read it out. Thank you for the question. So I'm going to stop up. It's mandatory for a business in US to have an accountant. I have just registered an S Corp in Florida, and I am not sure if I should have an accountant for every month or during tax season. Catherine?
Yes. Okay, it's not necessarily that you have an accountant, but let's, if you're starting up, like every business, when you're starting up a business, you have to see how business is going in, and how much detail of information you need from that business. What kind of business are you doing? So an accountant, it will be good if you can have them. If you want to have one, you can have one to do quarterly,
Backups. Yeah, review.
Yeah, they can review your incomes, your business every 3 months if you want to, or every 6 months, twice a month. It depends on how you want it to be structured, but it's very important to have a very good business, like I said, income statement for the whole year, and have it very good in order for you to do your tax returns. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to feed your tax returns, your business income and expenses. So it's up to you. It's something that I can offer. I do monthlies, like I do quarterlies. I can do once a year. It's up to you. You can have it once a year, but you have to give the person, depending on how much history, because that's very important, how much history you have for a whole year. If you have a very minimum, it's good once a year. But if you have a lot of volume, it's better at least twice a year. It's up to you.
Right, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much for that answer. We have another one. I'm gonna, they're coming in. I love this. I'm gonna just move this a little bit. We were billed for my dog's play group, and on the first visit, the QuickBooks charge was easy to pay. The second visit, we just started as a subscription. I could not pay with any device, PC, iPhone, Windows Duo, not with credit cards, not debit cards. Wow. Would you make that, what will make that fail? Like, so I kind of wondering, that's probably more like a one-on-one question, because the first question that comes to mind, it's what kind of error did you get? Because sometimes it might be the configuration on the business owner side that there's a glitch, you know. Give you an example that actually happened to another client with us when they changed the password in the bank, or they switch banks, telling you, yeah. So I will be more like a one-on-one, and it most likely it's gonna be the business owner that will need to figure it out. But thank you for that question. Very good.
Yes, that was a good question.
Yes, very good. What does a CPA provide that an accountant cannot help an organization achieve? Okay, so I guess the difference between a CPA, certified public accountant, versus, is it like what, a regular bookkeeper? I mean, what do you mean like an accountant? Like maybe somebody that, I don't know. Oh, somebody's waiting. Okay, let me go ahead. So, okay, I don't know. Are you there, Katherine?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. Okay. A CPA is more a certified public accountant. That's the wording of it. CPAs are pretty much, yes, they are ruled by the ICPA, which is they have to have studied, they have to have get a licensing. But accountants and CPAs are very, very similar, because for example, I'm an accountant and I've taken my CPA courses. I haven't been licensed yet, but I already know, I have history. And CPA is just to have a license. CPAs are basically people that do public companies that need to sign documentation that's needed. No different than an accountant. An accountant is someone that knows pretty much everything from the beginning to the end of the business. You know, it's just the way you can see it. But like I said, I've been doing accounting for 25 years, and I'm close to do my license. But sometimes I feel like as an accountant, I'm doing the same work as a CPA. The only thing is that I don't have the license, but I still have the same rules and regulations that I need to do my business. That's basically what it is. You know, you still have to follow certain rules.
Wow.
I don't know, hopefully that answers your question.
I think so. Okay, so
is the accountant preparing the income statement and the balance sheet? Yes. It's basically, that's the first step. Once you start your business, the income statement and the balance sheet gets feed already. So you're starting up already the income statement and the balance sheet. What we do is look at it, make sure that your accounts are correct, that you are categorizing some expenses that are really related to business. And if you have personal expenses, that has to be categorized differently. So those are the things that an accountant should do. It's look at everything in the books and make sure that everything is based on what the business is.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. And this is another question. Thank you so much for that. So we have from Alicia, do all profits of a partnership appear on a K1 or only losses?
Everything. Profit and losses.
The whole works.
Everything.
Yep. Well, one more. We have actually, one more question. Okay, I have an education company for online boot camps, and I want to give people opportunity to pay on 12 installments. Yes. Do I give invoice on the total amount and include the payments monthly, month by month, I'm sorry, or should I give 12 different invoices? I mean, it's either or. I guess in general, Catherine, please correct me if I'm wrong, probably like a monthly fee, like a make recurring payment and you spread it out on the 12 months for two reasons. Number one, QuickBooks is already doing the hard work for you. So you're when you're sleeping, they're sending the invoice, number one. And number two, that you're gonna give your customer the ability to pay, like it's gonna be paying slowly versus doing it in one lump sum. But that's my 2 cents for Catherine.
Yes, no, that's true. That's very true. There's different ways of paying, like having it as a recurring monthly payment for that client. And some of the things, it's like if you're doing subscriptions, depending on what kind of business you're doing, you know, you can do an engagement of a year, let's for example, and have that engagement, it totals a year, but then you're going to be charged this amount for the whole year. And then at the end of the year, you look it up, you find out if, let's say, that person needs more, you know, you look at the business and see if it's worth, you know, maybe pricing it differently or adding something that you didn't have when you originally did it. There's different ways, but that's something that you can do. It depends on you. There's systems out there as well that connect with QuickBooks for that piece too, because I have it myself. I have a practice ignition, which I do my engagements with my clients, and that's been sent out to the clients, but it's collected on their side, and then it completely goes to my accounting to be charged, you know, to be billed for the client. And I have the invoice and everything. It goes, they do a match between the practice ignition and QuickBooks. So this is a great, you know, thing to do as well. It's, you know, QuickBooks has it, but also other systems have it that they can connect with QuickBooks. Yes, if you want to do it differently.
Actually, I guess the geek inside of me took over in this one because I want to show you, I want to go back to the sample site and show you, Ariana and Lisa, I'm going to show you how can you look for those integrations, okay? It's a really specific part that eventually was going to come here. Okay, so if you go, I'm going to give you some space.
App transactions.
Right here, no, right here at the bottom. Can you see it? Can you guys see it? Good. So all you have to do is go click on the apps once you open your QuickBooks. And again, for you, since you're doing an educational, definitely the estimates and the online with the DocuSign will work as a charm because you can send invoices and you can send estimates to your clients, even if you're, you know, anywhere in the world. So once you go to your apps section at the bottom, you can have, look, Square, PayPal, you name it, but going to the one that right here.
DocuSign, e-signature.
The DocuSign, you see? So that's really good question. That's a very, very good question, but that will be probably your best bet. Look over the different opportunities on the apps.
Exactly.
Make your life easier. That's something too. I mean, if you're starting a business, make sure that your processes are as efficient and as automated as they could possibly be. You know what I mean? Try to make things automatic online, and that way you can actually focus on selling and of course getting accounting help and get your financials in order. So those are the two critical ones.
Yes.
Yeah, so very, very good. Now we're gonna just basically an overview. Oh, so how can you customize your invoices? Very important thing that just one of the first things that you want to do as soon as you open the account is you go to the settings, and then you can go to the custom forms. So I'm going to, it's very self-explanatory. You can actually upload your logo, change the images, and that's really, really flexible, very user-friendly. Create and bill payments, same thing if you have recurring bills. When one of the most important parts of doing QuickBooks is that you want to automate things. So if the first thing probably that you want to tackle is maybe find those payments that you do on a monthly basis, no matter what. For example, if you have a Zoom account, the $14.99, put it on QuickBooks as a recurring payment. Or maybe you want to have some payments that are, you know, that you want to have them there. So those are really the first setup pieces. And those are, I think Catherine will be appropriate to give you more guidance in that department, but just giving you general high level information. So when you're creating the pay bills, this is basically how you do it. You select a new bill, You click next, review payment information, okay, and then edit if needed, and then save and schedule payment. I mean, super down to the point. Bill payments. So here you have in the bill payments. So in this screenshot, you have these vendors. So here you can have the pay information is being selected. So in this case, I'm gonna check on this one here, the Norton, and the payment amount is entered. So you enter the payment amount here, and then schedule the payment online. Schedule the payment online. It's right there. It's all of that in here. So that's another benefits of having the bill payment set up. We also, okay, one of the things that we always get is how do you create tags for further tracking? So what we did, actually the tagging for, especially for you, is going to be really important.
Your Zoom.
Yeah, hold on one second. Myself, I'm gonna go here. Okay, it's not okay. That's fine. We got this. We're gonna get it one way or another. So we're going to now a slideshow from current slide, and it should be able to play. If it doesn't play, that's fine. I have a backup plan for you guys. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So basically what the tagging is, I'm gonna actually take the example of, let's say you have a school. Okay, I'm gonna go back here. So the tag, and when you do your classes, you have different types of classes. You have maybe a class for digital marketing, another class for programming. Yes, the tags are going to be amazing. So how do you use your tags? And I especially in your case, I will recommend take advantage of these tags. So let me go back to new. Go to, hold on one second. So I'm going to, let's say I'm going to actually go to an invoice. So I'm going to banking, right? For example, I'm going to go to my tags. They're everywhere. Everywhere you click an invoice, purchase order, you're gonna see tags looking at you. So in this case, you're here. So you can actually see how it works. So let's see, let's play for here. You just gotta keep trying. We got this going. So
This is Karen from the QuickBooks team.
Can you hear it?
Tags are customizable labels that let you track your money however you want so you can get deeper insights into your business. You can tag transactions such as invoices, expenses, and bills. Tags don't impact your books. They're a simple way for you to track and report on the info that matters most to you. Let's go over how to create tags and tag groups, and how to add tags to money in and money out transactions like invoices and expenses. Finally, we'll look at how to run reports on tags to see how you're making and spending money. To start, select Settings and Tags. Once you tag some transactions, you'll see the results of your tagging here as well. Before you start tagging, ask yourself which parts of your business are important to track. For example, you can track how much you're making and spending on different types of jobs. Or you can tag things like ad campaigns, sales reps, or who managed a project. Tags are completely customizable so you can track and report on whatever you like. It's best to start by creating tag groups so you can group tags together and run reports to see how specific areas of your business are doing. Select New and Tag Group, then name your group. In this case, we'll call our group Job Type. Then select the color that you want to use for these tags. Select Save, and then you can start adding tags to your group. In this case, we'll create 2 tags, one for residential and one for commercial. However, you can add as many tags as you like to a group. Now let's go over how to tag transactions. First, let's look at a money-in transaction like an invoice. Just create an invoice like you normally would. Then in the Tags field, select the tag you want for this invoice. If you don't see the tag you want, you can add it here and put it in a group. You can also add multiple tags to a transaction if you're tracking multiple things. Now, let's add tags to expenses. First, we'll look at an expense from a connected credit card. Go to your transactions, and when you see one you want to tag, select it. You'll see the tag field right here. You can select a tag or add a new one. Once everything looks good with this expense, select Confirm. The process is similar, even if you create expenses that aren't connected to online banking. Select New and Expense. Fill in the details of who was paid, how much, and the payment method, just like you normally would. The Tags field is here, and you can add your tag. When you're finished, fill in the category details and then save. Now, let's go back to the Tags page and see the results of your tagged transactions. You'll see all your tagged money in and money out transactions. You can filter by the tag group and date. This shows you which tags are bringing in the most money and which ones cost you the most. Below, you'll see all your groups and each tagged transaction. You can even run reports off these if you want to break these down further. And that's it. Start using tags and learn more about where your money is coming from and how you're spending it.
Very good. So yes, so basically one of the most common questions, and there's a lot of misunderstanding on the tags. So that's why we decided to play that video also. And we also want to be mindful of your time, and actually in due time. So we're going to now show you the frequently asked questions. That tag is obviously one that we already tackled. And I see somebody in the chat. So let's see if there's another question. All right. Okay, so we have, okay, do I give QuickBooks access to my accountant, and which access, a standard or admin? I guess, Catherine, yeah.
Hi, in the access of the accountant, let's for instance, every person has an access module for an accounting, my accountant. So basically what you do is give them access to your books, to look at your books. Like for instance, I'm going to show you, let me see if I can share my screen with you guys.
Make sure that I can enable, you should be able. So I'm gonna stop sharing. You can actually share on top of me, like, or if not.
Let me see if I can share. Hold on, because I'm sharing. Okay, you have to stop sharing so I can share.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Okay, so I can see if I can.
And then after this, then we're gonna go jumping into the frequently asked questions, the ones that we can been getting on a consistent basis, and we'll share the
okay, can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, basically here, my accountant, let's say I want to invite an accountant to look at my books. So what I do is I here and let me move the add user. If you want to add user, let's say for instance, you add the user and you want to give them standard user or company admin. It all depends on how you want it. If you want to give them company administration, meaning that they can change passwords, add users, it's up to you. So this is, it's something that you have to do it based on, how you want it. If you want to give them full access, perfect. For any changes, like have them as a backup, that's fine. But you can have it also as a standard by giving them some limited privileges. So it's up to you. And this is something that is everybody gives access to people depending on what. In my case, I'm like, usually I get pretty much full access because I'm the one making all the changes throughout the companies, or if anything that I need to do. If I have standard, it's probably limited to certain things that I need to do on the accounting side. So that's why you have, it depends on what kind of, if it's a bookkeeper, they're not doing reportings, they're not doing other things, you can give them a standard. But let's say an accountant that has more experience, that knows how to work the, the business or the system, company admin would be preferably. So it's up to you.
Very good. Very good. And so another question here is, can I pay cash for a laptop from Best Buy and then use the sales receipt as expense if I am listed in the, like, as the owner of the company?
Hold on, let me stop sharing. Stop the share, hold on.
All right.
Now you can go back, say it again.
Yeah, so can I pay cash for a laptop from the Best Buy and then use the sales receipt as an expense? See, she's the owner of the company.
Yeah, you're the owner. That's on the contrary. If it's for business, basically, yes, that's something that you put in your books as an expense. So yes.
So I'm going to actually go back. I'm going to share my screen now. So before we close this segment, and yes, please keep them coming. You guys have amazing questions. We're going to go over the frequently asked questions. Catherine, I'll give you the honors.
Okay. We chose some questions, like very common questions: how to use sales receipts and invoices, and what is what. The sales receipt is what is used when you receive the money from your services you provide. The invoices is when you're billing for your services. So those are very common because people get, they don't know which one is, why is sales receipt and why is invoice. That's why I put those differences, because sales receipt is when you receive the money and the invoice is when you're billing for your services. So that's the difference. That's the differentiation. How to configure Square or PayPal. We spoke about Square and PayPal. So these are some steps. You have to connect the QuickBooks for Square on the Square app, import all the products first and services for Square. Square is completely different than PayPal, especially because Square, you have to have your own items and products and services in the module for Square. So when you bring it over on your books, you need to have that same information that you have in Square, you have to have it on your QuickBooks. So that because what happens, Square brings everything, the invoices and everything and the payments in QuickBooks. And what it does, it matches whatever it's in the system. So it's very important to have the products and services that you use in Square, bring it over to QuickBooks, because if not, it's going to be a big issue. It's really one of the things that we've had in the past, that people don't bring that information in QuickBooks, and you have to create them manually, and it's more work. So once you have that information in QuickBooks and in Square, it's easier. And also review your transactions. PayPal, it's slightly different from Square, because how PayPal is connected is through the bank, and you can create it as a checking. So basically you connect your PayPal, and everything that goes in the PayPal is like a checking, everything coming in. And all you do is transfer from one account to their business account to PayPal. So there's like always a transfer, but it kind of connects with the invoices or payments that you receive from the clients. So it's slightly different, similar to Square, but slightly different. Yeah. So so those are the differences. That's why we put those in there, because those are very common apps that are used for QuickBooks. But what's the best way to fix a beginning opening balance when taking over a previous? Good question. The first thing you have to do is reconcile. Whatever the company had before, you got to reconcile in order for you to bring that information over to the business, or to a new system, or to, you have to make sure that everything has reconciled, and then you make the adjustments for the beginning balance. That's basically what you do. Do a journal entry to make the corrections. Right. So once you know that something didn't tie up, you do your debits and your credits, and you fix it, and you move forward. So basically, those are things that when changing, let's say, instance, banking, you change from one bank to another. You close it in one bank with a number, and then you're opening with another, but your other bank is not the same as the beginning balance. So you have to do adjustments to bring that information over. So
very good.
Have any questions?
Yes, I have two in the chat. I'm opening it right now. Yes, everything. So no, please keep asking questions. We love your questions, Arijana. Don't ask away. No, so I'm going to actually hear. Oh yeah, we have different set of accounting principle, and we're so happy that you're here with us.
Yes,
and like I said, there's more questions. Yes, there are more questions. You can contact me and Catherine. I'm going to share again the information. So feel free to anything that more specific to you. And Alicia, as all new to me too, say yes. So we thank you. We all thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything.
Super.
You guys are awesome.
Yes, you guys, I mean, super. Also,
super good questions. I love it. The questions are really good. I like it.
Very good. And let me tell you, you are not the only one. We have always the very repetitive. Oh, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
So before you go, let me just jump back. I'm sorry. Let me just back real quick so you have the information. Remember, Catherine is the accounting expert. Anything with the technology, if you wanna collaborate, I see Regina, you're in the education business. I love my teachers. You're a fellow teacher like me, so reach out for anything else, any questions or any ideas. Be more than happy. So here's her information in her website. I'm also, I just gave you a little chance for you to maybe take a picture or just take notes. And she does, again, consulting, taxing, business loans. So definitely she's the money lady. It's Catherine here, accounting expert. And then technology, again, training. I'll be more than happy to speak with you. And also, if you have any questions about what you have right now, even if you have a website, if you want to have more exposure, if you have ideas on how to bring more customers, please, by all means, do that. Reach out to us. All right. So I'm going to go back to Catherine's slide. So I'm going again. This this recording is going to be processed and then sent over to you. So what I would like for you to do, if you can, reach out to us and then we can send you the copy, or you can send you the link where you can have access to this particular recording, this presentation. So you saw our information right here. Reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, okay. We're gonna, yes.